Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. I hope you're keeping very well. And today I am excited to be doing an album review of Kyabram With Kisses XX, released for Record Store Day 2025 and actually pressed in Kildare at Anthem Vinyl. And I met Brian at Anthem Vinyl and he gave me this copy and I was super happy to get it, and it was really cool to hear a record where I knew it was pressed. And it's standard black vinyl, quite a nice pressing and lovely sound. So it's really cool to get some insight. But this isn't just your standard record. No. It comes with a smart vinyl link, which allows you to get what it says here: smart access, exclusive music, audio and visual content, updates and community connection, which is basically nearly you're given a whole experience with the album, which I think is super cool. There's some things the liner notes just can't do. I mean, I'm as big a fan of liner notes as you are, but to have been part of a community and getting like audio clips and different demos and things, I think that's super duper cool. So let's just get into some of the really kind of basic details for anybody who's not initiated with it. Kyabram With Kisses is a bonus album that kind of is based off the 2004 album Since Kyabram by Declan O Rourke. So this kind of bonus content from that released for Record Store Day. So we had 4 tracks off the album just with original studio dialogue, which is exclusive to this. And then we have Galileo off the record, covered by Paul Weller with Steve Craddock. Love Is Away, covered by Imelda May. We Didn't Mean to Go to See as an early demo, and Sarah and Everything Is Different, but they are original demos produced by the one and only Paddy Casey. So a super duper diverse, interesting record we've got here. So this was released for 2025 Record Store Day. So this was coming up. I actually think I might have got this before Record Store Day, a couple of days before. So I was lucky to be able to listen to this and just get into it. And I just thought it was a fantastic record. And it introduced me to Since Kyabram, which I love. And I just thought now, from listening to this to listening to Since Kyabram to coming back to this, I've got an insight into both the different records, which is super cool. And I think for anybody who hasn't heard Since Kyabram or Kyabram With Kisses, you should check it out. Links will be down below. So let's start off with Side A, which is 4 tracks, all of which were on the original album, except they come with new things on them, which is studio dialogue. So at the end, when I finish speaking about the individual tracks, I'm going to just kind of tally up what impact this makes to the album, the original studio dialogue. Not really the album though, the album experience as a whole with Since Kyabram. Not really with Kyabram With Kisses, because it's not a studio album. It's more of an accomplice of the incredible Since Kyabram. So starting off with No Place to Hide with original studio dialogue. This is some very cool and gentle strings, and I think what I like about it is the plucks that are in it. To me, just the softness of the string plucks is really, really cool. And I also think that there was some really nice subtle shakers that added that percussive element that was so cool to this track. And the lyricism was very illustrative. So overall, a brilliant introduction to the album. Then we had Galileo with original studio dialogue, which had upfront lyrics and very warm vocals, which I enjoyed listening to, which is carried on by Paul Weller's cover with Steve Craddock. He has some fantastic vocals on that as well. And there's some soaring strings across Galileo. I think it's a really, really beautiful track. And I just really loved kind of getting some more insight into it from hearing it on this to Since Kyabram to this. It's really developed to be one of my favourite tracks. And then we have One Way Minds with original studio dialogue, which is fun and has a bit of a bounce to it. It's very energetic and really, really cool. And it's a very happy and upbeat track. And I think that's what kind of makes it very exciting. And then with the original studio dialogue as well is super cool to hear different insights into the songwriting process. And well, not really writing, but song production and recording process is really, really cool. And then we have Marrying the Sea, which is also connected to Till Death To Us Part. So that's a full 7-minute track with 2 kind of parts to it, or 2 tracks, 7 minutes. That also is original studio dialogue. And the 2 tracks just really fit so well together. And they're very 2 types of song, very different 2 types of songs. You have a very stripped back, reserved track with Marrying the Sea and then Till Death To Us Part, which is a much more vibrant and upfront piece. And though I will say I love both of them equally, and overall though it has a great story, Marrying the Sea, I love it a lot. So the studio dialogue that we hear, does it make that much of an impact? I think it does. I think if you're a fan of Since Kyabram, this is kind of essential as a fan to kind of hear these different parts, especially if you're a vinyl freak like me who wants all the different kind of aspects of the record and loves looking on Discogs at specific pressings. This is like, you need these specific studio dialogues. If you're like me, this is something that's a necessity in a record store day pressing. You need that kind of extra bonus part. So that's why I love it. But then we have side B, which is a completely different side. So we have the original tracks, and then we have with studio dialogue, and then we have the covers and the demos, which are fantastic. Starting off with Galileo with Paul Weller and Steve Craddock. Fantastic choice in voice. Paul Weller is just bang on with the vocal tone for this track. Amazing vocals across the track, and it's so gentle. And I think Paul Weller just achieved this with such an amazing talent. It was fantastic to hear. And I think for Declan to pick Paul for the vocals, I think is an amazing choice. Overall, it just is such a great addition to the album. And then we have Love Is The Way, which features Imelda May. And this is a very vast and impactful track from the get-go. And quite unique. It's very different to the rest of the tracks on this album, which is, I guess, what adds to that vast impactfulness that we discussed just there previously. I mean, it's a very, very interesting track. And I know it's something that will get a lot of attention from listeners because of how different it is on the record. And then we have We Didn't Mean to Go to Sea, which is an early demo, which is a beautiful song, and it gives you some great insight into the original track. And I think that's something that was really awesome because I love We Didn't Mean to Go to Sea. So to hear the different parts that were similar in the original was really, really cool. And then we had Sarah, which is, again, an original demo. Sorry, We Didn't Mean to Go to Sea is an early demo. This is an original demo, Sarah, produced by Paddy Casey. This is amazing. I love this track. And this is going to be really, really strange, but I actually prefer this a lot more to the original. The original is beautiful, but this just has this rawness to it, that demo quality. Maybe I'm too much of a music nerd that I just can't understand the fact that some things just don't have to sound like a demo. Purposely have to sound like that to maybe add a bit more emotion. That I just love the rawness of demos sometimes and live takes, and sometimes on bootlegs you get some great sound out of things. It's really, really cool. But I do think Sarah, this original demo, is really, really cool. And I think for any music nerds like me, this original demo for Sarah, produced by Paddy Casey, which is incredible, it'll just be super cool, and it will become one of your favorite tracks, either out of this the Kyabram verse, this whole verse that has been constructed with this, and then Kyabram With Kisses, and then the 20th anniversary edition of Since Kyabram. There's a whole verse out there, guys. There's a whole universe. But Sarah, I think that'll become one of your favorites, this original demo. So again, another reason why you need to pick up the pressing. There's a lot of this stuff that's not on streaming, guys. So if you do want to buy this, links will be down below. If you want to hear Since Kyabram, it'll be linked down below. But you can't. This isn't on Spotify, guys. So you're getting some exclusive stuff. And then we have Everything Is Different, which is an original demo, again produced by Paddy Casey, which is a vast and very impactful end to the album. And I think really signifies something super cool. And it's just a great finale. So Kyabram With Kisses XX. This was needed, honestly, as a vinyl release. For me, I just thought this is amazing. And it made me love Since Kyabram that much more as a new listener. I loved listening to this. And I loved listening to Since Kyabram. So I do think that in itself, a bonus record, made me love the original record as well as this one. I just think this is a lot in it. For one 12-inch piece of plastic, there's a lot in this that you need to hear. And the album art's incredible. I really, really love the album art. I just think it's so cool and so insightful into what the album's like. Colourful, really vibrant. And with Kisses, it has that extra stuff. It has that extra little bit of love in it with the raw takes. And my overall thoughts, standing with all this, I think it's an essential record if you like since Kyabram. And if you like those record store day releases, if you like to get insight into records, if you're new to Declan O Rourke, I think you should pick this up. It'll get you into since Kyabram. It certainly did for me. And overall, my rating is 4.5 out of 5 for this. Really, really enjoyed listening to it. Again, thanks to Anthem Vinyl for showing me how this was pressed and giving me this copy. I really appreciate it. Links to Anthem Vinyl, Declan O Rourke, since Kyabram, where you can buy Kyabram with Kisses, all down below. Keep in mind, if you don't buy this, you're missing out on a smart vinyl, bonus tracks, demos, covers, everything. You're missing out on everything, so definitely check it out. But that is the end of my album review. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the review, subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share. It means a lot. Definitely check out the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, as well as the website where I have everything linked, including my socials, which definitely check out if you're a Logan Sounds Off fan and consider following on. That's the end of the review, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.